Racing fans, and welcome back into the second part of LSRTV's primetime back-to-back doubleheader gas networks from the Virtual World Center of Racing, the Daytona Township for the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, and we do race 10 underway from Daytona, and we get set for the B main as we prepare for tonight's the iSuper Union of Rodney and Mrs. Piscini. Rodney Wofford, the man, well, he's starting in second for alongside our driver analyst, Josh Ball. As always, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler with you. And Josh, and because of that, what's a key that these guys are going to have to deal with? Because again, the front stretch.
Yeah, this is an interesting track. You know, we don't come here very much. You don't see it very much on iRacing. Luckily, you're right, Evan. I got lucky 2 weeks ago at Daytona. I was finished in the top. Moment for me. This track has bumps you around everywhere, so good luck to the
tonight. That one going to be 50 laps when we go main event racing. But grid on the evening, it's going to be Mark Jorgensen Jr. in 780 to put the number 88 on pole position. Rodney Wofford will start outside in 7. The 51 of Jason Oatmans, it's Mitchell Reeves in 4th, and Greg Hooks rounding out your top 5.
7 going to roll off 6th here tonight. Jose Ramirez will start 7th. 8th goes to that 24 machine of Josh Hanna. In the number 10 is Ryan Keese.
With that sweet-looking Tennessee Honey number 07, William Roberts Jr.
Outside of that, James Pileski in 16th position, Alex Hallinar in 17th, 18th. Into just behind them, it's right now with the 87. Carl Rolls from 19th, and Larry Camp in 20th. It's the
28 of Shane McKeechin, 22nd is the 38 of Jeff Figlin, Daniel Ferguson. And time here tonight is the 36 of Sean Turner, and Seth the Merchant in the 42 will start 25th.
He's going to be the last car starting 26th tonight. Stephanie Lestine already transferred in as well as
laps. And again, it's big track racing, short track style +1. So if you finish inside of the top 18, you're automatically locked through 28th. Highest driver in points on a provisional will get the ticket as well into the first, second part of our doubleheader, 62.5 miles. The ones if you've tuned in the past. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV, and let's see how this one shakes out as we get set to season before we go chase racing in a little bit just over a month. The pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn down. From Daytona, B-Main, green flag across the start finish. Turn 1 for the first time tonight. Outside, half the car length advantage, but the inside, that's where all the
they'll pull even in the middle and coming off of the corner right now. The bottom side, that's Mark Jorgensen Jr. looking to turn it a few weeks here at ISS or iSuper Speedway Series. Right now, though, that top line looking real good. Into the corner, that's going to get the bottom side now the momentum off of turn number 4. Here comes the 88 looking for that.
Still being pushed by the number 51 about Jason Oatman's on the bottom, pushes up a little bit. The outside kind of has to scatter. Are not turning well when the tires aren't touching the asphalt, so the guys up top have to be a little.
Exactly, and you know, I got a little insight here. About 20 minutes ago, we had the Dash for Cash that was not sweet. We had the top smoother. It seemed like a lot of guys tried to stay on the bottom, as we normally see people. The high side actually has some speed here because the bumps aren't as bad up there.
question of who can get to the inside of the racetrack first. However, everybody up top, they've stayed in line. It's the 4th and 6th. So everybody that started up top inside the top 10 still there. Everybody that started on the inside still there. Drafting package. These guys group drafting at the moment. It's a big pack, and on the top side, it's not the tandem that we used to see, but regularly on Friday night.
Down low right there. Not sure exactly the car number. It looks like green though.
I guess that's one thing that doesn't change.
Difference you've had though over the last few weeks though in Talladega, and then you come to Daytona. Everywhere all around this place, it's a lot narrower, so drivers have to be a lot more up on the wheel here to make their way down through the front stretch here and back into turn number 1. Wofford's definitely making that.
When we saw the Mod Car Truck Tour race at Kansas, you'll see the replay of that close call. The Daytona that we saw just 1 week ago. It's not any thinner, it's just the fact that, again, the cars, they move up and down so much. The handling, I know the 24th, the 77, they got a little bit interesting that last time. Guys on the bottom.
And then, you know, this is Daytona 07. This is 8 years ago. Daytona, where it's nice and flat. There's a little bumps here and there. This place is, take a look on board of the number 51 right now. You're going to see when he goes through the corner, the car is just bouncing up and down. The shows you all over the place. It's hard enough just to hold on to the car. So these guys out here side by side the whole time.
Inside was able to fight back, but now the outside gains the advantage once again. 50 and Jason Oltman's going to bring it up this next time, and you know now he gets right back there within a car length. No caution flag though. Trouble on the short shoot between the front stretch and the wall. The 38 and Jeff Figlin heavily torn up in the Roush Performance, and heavy into Larry Camp topside. Talked to Andy about how these guys on the bottom, those cars move the hill. Larry Camp gets turned, and as that happens in the tri-oval, a simultaneous spin maybe, and that's at least a 5-4 car incident or so.
Yeah, it's a tough break. Not a lot of room. Talk about the bumps being unsettling for these cars. It makes it real tough, especially starting to get worn at a rough track like this. So the old circa 2000, not much practice for these guys at this track. We should have raced in this race just to get a little practice so he doesn't mess up the main event here. No.
I can tell you what, the first time they added this race onto the schedule, Josh, I know you can attest to this, controlled chaos, if you will, because those guys, they're still moving around every single lap, but the racing that was first off going to end well. Yeah, but, you know, because of that, there's a whole lot that has to go into it. So a lot of the moves that you guys make on a regular basis, as Wofford thinks about the pit lane, he'll jump out at the last second, maybe going to be able to on knowing the track. There's not a whole lot of surprises at Daytona, Josh. However, here, and make those moves knowing that I'm clear from this guy, so as long as I don't hit another car, I'm good. The track in and of itself, some other percent of your attention on the other cars, because the track is not going to react.
Exactly, and you know you're going to hit different bumps here and there, and I'll go back to what Andy said. I actually wish I could have ran in this race. I do. You know, this track is, we don't come here very often, like you said. There's bumps. You know, way series is, you know, if you make it in, advantage a little bit here tonight for myself and some others, Stephanie Lessentine, Tanner Mann, stuff like that, where it feels in the draft. I got a couple laps earlier in a little practice race. I told you about the dash. You know, moving your car around the whole track, I really didn't get to the high side too much. So, that if you got some practice time, you know where these bigger bumps are, then you got a slight advantage here for sure.
Far, and he tries to get en route to another one in just a little bit later on. Well, the All-Star Open, the All-Star race, attested to change that. Still not an official feature. The Ice Super Speedway Season 5 All-Star Invitational, and time left after Chris Bassini went back-to-back 1 week ago. Look at the schedule into tonight at Daytona. Back-to-back races where we're at this Daytona circa 2007. So miles, around 120 laps next week. So obviously you're going over twice the distance of tonight's feature. Talladega, the Draft Heart 300 at Talladega. We cut the guys off to 10. We go chase race rain. Part of that being 2 out of these last 4 being Daytona 07. Any other series, we talked about the Full Throttle Cup Series. That was a wild card race. Well, because we race here on Friday track for sure, somebody might be able to get a win and sneak in.
Win yet this season to get themselves into the chase. Only time will tell. Obviously, as with these guys, and we talked about getting the track time and getting the seat time and learning about staying focused. And these guys have been doing this. Josh about needing the practice time and stuff, but we're talking about a champion. Last season's into it. They'll figure out the track. It only takes a couple laps. These guys will figure it out, and a great finish to the season. And these guys are all they're all great racers. Every week is a wild card. Your opportunity is a place where somebody can maybe sneak in there and steal one away from somebody.
4 or 5 laps under the yellow. Josh, you lose a fifth of this race now with the 15 laps to go. Again, the top 18, the magic number, so that only, and I say only sparingly, only put 2 laps down, so you got 6 guys going at it. We're going to be looking up front for the exciting stuff, but
they're going to be racing hard for that position. Those guys back there know it. 8 plus 1 is based on points this season. So if you don't know where you are in points, you got to be 18. Otherwise, you're on lap.
The green flag drops and back away we go. Now 11 laps down. That's the 7 Roddy Wofford that he gives the tap to. Wofford started second in this race. Lead from that, and now because he was up front, he gets forced to the lane that he doesn't want. That's the bottom. 88 of Jorgensen, he'll take over the race lead to turn 3.
Right now, it's not going to drop down in front, though. It shows you that top side. It's a place where everyone wants to be right now. Wofford, though, now the 88 of Jorgensen Jr. giving a great push right there to Anderson. Get a little wiggle there. They able to, but a great little pack right here. The top 10 all snuggled nice going to the third one.
In middle, simply not making a push. Hooks in the wall. There he goes. He'll collect the side fence, and only 1 car remains. Ray Rittenauer going to be able to halfway point in the B main. Greg Cook's apologizing for the contact, and that's something that we had given that much more wheel, though. The car's going to spin out. Out of room, you hit the fence, he gets hit in the back by the 93, comes down, gets into Josue Ramirez, the back of the number 89 Rashida Matt Quick, who just squeaks through. William Roberts Jr., I think, gets a piece of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was just outside. That's the only problem I see coming off with this setup tonight. Is we talked a lot about it earlier in the coming off of turn 2. So look for that to be a problem spot tonight as we go into the A main later. A couple of guys, if you're not into that wall, and if you don't lift, you're gonna definitely smack it, and unfortunately sometimes cause a inside, and hopefully he'll be able to make it in on points. If not, his night might be over.
Down.
Yeah, just minor actions. Really towards the end of these B mains, we might see some position at the moment, but we'll get some damage ourselves into that A main here tonight. But yeah, we've been very minor per se here for Super Speedway.
And we're at the halfway point. We'll take an opportunity back for more action from Daytona as we get set to continue to grid the rest of tonight's feature race event field. Of moment, you're watching the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season. You get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. Plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way first amount approximate paid cash or iRacing books. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. See if you qualify for our league.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with ferocity. Do good, be a lion.
Back live at the virtual Daytona International Speedway, the circa 2007 track on the race number 10, the Clash at the Beach from the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV. And Josh Ball for the moment up here as our driver analyst. Still have to feature bill yet to be determined. Will be with inside of 8 laps to go for the restart and the lights off on the pace car. Because the outside's the place to be tonight, takes the lead. Austin Anderson from 6th position goes to 2nd, takes lead on the outside. Well, because he was leading, now he gets put on the inside, so it's not be a good idea to lead this one, because if you lead, you get put down to the unpreferred lane.
Good solid green flag laps at least. Rodney Wofford definitely wants to see some laps click off before that caution does come out. Otherwise, the scenario now in the position he wants to be in. We'll have to see how this thing plays out.
Started on the lead lap, so by no means is the action slow. 18, you're locked. Everybody else fight for just one provisional. Anderson do on the inside of the racetrack, tries to spread the wings and gets going. Green flag back in the air and across the start. Baltimore or to the lead. Jorgensen, that should be enough to get them both up to the top side. He knew.
Fortunately, it looks like he's stuck to the outside by himself now as Rodney Wofford and Mitchell Reeves drop to the bottom and up to the top and help Jorgensen out. That's a preferred line right now on the high side.
Yeah, the 70 probably don't want to push the 88 to the lead. He wants to work with the 77, so he goes down. Side works for a pass. The 7 there, though, again, nobody knows what to do. Wofford was clear, thought about.
Well, maybe they're waiting for the right moment to make that bold, aggressive move. We know right there, Mitchell Reeves in that 0-2 machine. He's going to lead him down the backstretch right now. Exactly the leading him back into 3.
88 machine up top, not a good start. Was that into the fence behind him? The 12. The question, there it is. Ron flag hard into the outside wall. The 6 get plowed by the 38. There's the caution flag, and they continue to wreck. Probably the longest wreck we've seen all season. It started and then it stopped. It started. And a tight race car, somebody into the fence. This time it just happens to be Shane McEachin. Their third wreck ended up being the actual yellow.
Yes, you see the replay going up to us. It looked like they were crashing and they were crashing more. They still didn't totally crash, and then coming out of 4, unfortunately, they finally decided to actually crash. But we got
he got his money's worth.
It might be a poop show out there. That was definitely a poop show. Not sure what the exact caution laps left, but the fan favorite, Mark Jorgensen, and prevail, and him and Justin Anderson set 1-2, and unfortunately, just that inside didn't work.
And again, they had the chance at it, but it goes back to the point I had earlier. Go to the top side. If that's next week, they go to the top side. But again, because they don't know the track, top side with Mitchell Reeves, the 88 takes over the race lead. Now the question is, as Josh had mentioned, with out, do we go back green? And it's a conversation we had earlier in the complete service. I still feel like we're hoping.
Well, there might be time. They just caught the pace car that time by, so I don't think they're going to actually get it in. It'd be nice to see it. What a way to end this B main with a one-lap shootout, but will be end up on the bottom side for this restart. Justin Anderson, you know, he's hoping to let these guys hit going back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if we can. I think we're going to end up being one lap too short to make this thing restart.
Cut line, Josh. Right now in 19th is Josh Hanner. That means that Rod Flag in 21st. Not enough. I still feel Josh Hanner can pass one car if we go back green. Rod Flag does not like having to rely on that.
Back there, you got just as you mentioned, Josh Hanner, Rod Flag, and Jay Riot. Two winner or third in the points. Rod Flag 10th. So if they do not go transferring home, William Roberts Jr., Rod Flag, Jay Riot, Figlin, Jose Green here, especially Rod Flag, as he doesn't have a win on the season currently.
I guess relieved that I didn't win it's the Best Buy Blue because he's now out of this race after being in. Partially probably seeing the scenario where he's not going to make it to the end of this race. The engine might not make it. He's about able to make it to the end of this B main. So we'll find out the fate of this as we pace at the moment down the back straightaway. The lights on the pace car are on. Again, there's no overtime. That means is a yellow again can end the race. If the lights go off this next time by when we take lap 24, we'll go around and under the caution flag.
20, but I see that it obviously is. I am wrong, and it's 20. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I think it's going to be a wild show for 2.5 miles here.
If we see if it's actually a one-lap shootout, because I don't want to elaborate. We'll find out what it's going to be this time by. Going to be 2 laps to go. Mark Jorgensen Jr. wants to light the B main. Start finish line. 2 laps to go. And they go to the outside. They'll double up. It is a 1-lap oppose me. If you're leading the outside, you're leading the race. The caution knocks you to the bottom, Josh. That's not a often wins the race because they won't be up enough speed after the first lap.
Yeah, and we just saw some interesting thing happen there. Justin Anderson is he's still on the wall. Yeah, he's
from
just going along.
Second place in a transfer spot, and we're hearing these guys just cut out power. The 77 adjusted Anderson, he is not on track anymore. A free.
And now Rodney Wofford's back up there, just where we were talking about him a couple laps ago. He wanted to be on the inside out where you want to be here. I think 1-lap shootout really determines who you have behind you. A big lead on the last restart on the bottom. So, and they all have to kind of like Mark Jorgensen's spot here. I think Mitchell Reeves is a little bit better pushing than Derek Walker. Sorry, Derek, don't mean to. Yeah, I think Jorgensen might have the edge here. We'll see here in about 50.
At Daytona, guys, by the way, race control already telling the drivers that
that's a 1-car length lead right now. Does he go up to the high side? Having some trouble. Mitchell Reeves hits the apron. That's going to leave Jorgensen all by himself.
Oh, that's going to be a trouble behind him.
Now into 3.
It'll be another one of those races to crawl home to the racetrack. Watford goes up. He doesn't want to give the 80 his mark. It's an old-fashioned drag race to the end. This one is going to go to Rodney Wofford. He's got it at the start-finish line. On to the feature race presented in the holy union of himself and Mrs. Passini. He wins the B line. They're locking in spots. Drivers still trying to limp home. 15th is Ferguson. Mitchell Reeves provisionally 17th is going to go to James Pileski in the grass. Mitchell Reeves, he will get. The provisional will be determined amongst Dana Osborne, Josh Hanner, Larry Camp, Justin Anderson, Jason Confident to say the 24 going to be the 19th car.
Yeah, and Evan, I'm pretty sure he's 30. I'm 99.99999% sure Josh Hanner will. But that was a finish, guys. I mean, I told you it was going to be any dull moments.
And I told you, Andy, that race could, because for a lot of the guys, everything's on the line.
Those all valuable points for the championship. So it's an all-star race. Everyone trying to make it into the main event, and we saw that big wreck, and they did the same thing here tonight. So it just shows you how important it is. These B mains are to get you into that.
Hey, Andy, guess what?
Yes.
Guess what Rodney Wofford wants to do now? Later on tonight, he's got the B main in the books, and that means he will join the other 19 drivers. We go feature race racing at Daytona. In a moment, we'll step away, and the A main coming up for feature race number series.
Top 10 for most of this race, actually.
On the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also bringing forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days. So they can use original, very high-speed configurations of the track where the cars would just blow through where the chicanes are today, or they could use a more modern version. So it's a pretty cool, compelling track. The unique thing about Monza is it has a road course, but it also has a high-speed oval. And that high-speed oval can be run by itself. The Grand Prix course can be run by itself. And they also can be run together in a combined circuit, which is very unique and special in motorsports. This was one of the more challenging projects that we've undertaken. It was essentially building two tracks in one. It took a lot of time and a lot of care was put into it, but we're really happy about the end result, and we think that people have a lot of fun driving it.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu works himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now. Just
Good evening, sim racing fans, and we're back at it. It's part 2 of part 2 on our Friday night doubleheader on LSRTV. A main action from the Daytona International Speedway, circa 07. 50 laps on tap as we get ready for the clash at the beach. We welcome you into the LSRTV booth. Evan Pasoko and Andy Kessler along for the ride with you. As always, our executive producer is Laura Lawson. Andy, our driver analyst, kind of had to get down to the racetrack because Josh Ball participating in tonight's clash at the beach. 50 laps, 125 miles, and a possibility to add another name to the chase grid.
Yeah, very good possibility, and a good possibility it could be somebody different that hasn't gotten a win yet this season, which would be great to see because the more the merrier when you enter the chase. It's a good opportunity. Different track, though, very bumpy. We saw that in the first main and the B main. A lot of cars getting sideways, getting into each other, causing some mayhem, especially that we saw on that last lap. So we should be in for a good treat here tonight. 50 laps. Should be with the top guys. I'm trying to beat out your back-to-back.
Back-to-backs?
All the top guys here at the Super Speedway Series going at it here tonight at the 07 Daytona. So should be a fantastic one. We're in for a good show.
So we approach borderline tongue twisters here on LSRTV. Do got to talk about the chase, though. You know, we mentioned it in the B-Maid. We also talked about it a little bit earlier if you were tuning in with the Rod Car Truck Tour, is that the chase grid has changed now. The qualifying procedures through 9 races so far, they're being modified. What that means is nothing has changed at this moment, but last season, the first season in which the iSuper Chase with elimination rounds was implemented, there would be every single driver with a win to make the chase grid. You're locked in. You're good to go. If there were any drivers in the top 5 in overall points without a win on the season, those drivers would as well join them. That number could be as high as the 13 races plus 5. That's a maximum of 18. Didn't see that many, but still that was the possibility. That was changed into this season, in which the cap would be 10, which is why, Andy, we've been saying if you win, you're not necessarily guaranteed in. 2 wins would lock you in, because there's always a possibility for more than 10 drivers to get a win. Now that has changed. We're back to the Season 4 chase grid, which means that our winners on the season are now locked into the chase. So Rodney Wofford, Josh Ball, Frank Wasilia, Shane McEachin, Brandon Chaburko, Christian Peterson, Jason Altmans are locked in. Tanner Mann won in the number 5 machine 2 weeks ago. He still needs to make the top 30 in points if he wants to be eligible, but as well, if you go by the points, Joshua Hanner, 3rd in the points right now without a win. He would as well now be put onto the chase grid, something that was not current as of 1 week ago. Good news for the 24 team.
Yeah, it's great news for him. Currently, the problem is there's still plenty of races that if he doesn't get a win and 3 new people do, he might be sitting on the outside looking in again. And we talk about that. There's a couple guys that are close. Corey Henry to be one to be frank about, the number 12 machine. 4 points out of a chase spot right now based on points. Obviously looking for a win. He's been fast enough to do that all season long. But a lot of luck comes into play when you're racing at plate tracks week in and week out. So a lot of things can happen. A lot of jumbling can happen over the next couple weeks before we get this chase underway.
So with that, it's time to go feature race racing from Daytona. The cars just now begin to hit the grid as qualified wraps to a close. So let's go down trackside for the opening ceremonies and with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And a big thank you to Jaden Berkey for performing this afternoon's national anthem, and to the Virtual Thunderbirds for providing us with the flyover. It's a clear Daytona Beach sky, and let's go a main feature race racing with the Clash at the beach. The cars roll from the grid. Let's take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for feature race number 10. Pole position going to go to Chris Piscini. So the number 1 car, the Pennzoil Chevy, starts from pole. Mark Jorgensen Jr. gets into the B main. The driver of the 88 car starts from second. Josh Ball, the number 48, the Lowe's Chevrolet, starts in 3rd position. Rodney Wofford will start outside on that next row in 4th position. Winner of the B main just a few moments ago. And in rounding out your top 5, and always lethal, number 42, that's Seth the Merchant, the Halo 5 Guardian Chevrolet.
Yeah, and the 02 of Mitchell Reeves had a great run in the B main, just barely squeaked in. He's going to roll off 6th. 7th is going to be that 43 machine of Stephanie Lessentine. 8th will be the 87 of Ray Rittenauer. Corey Henry, we talked about, 4 points out of a chase spot currently. He's going to start 9th, and 10th will be the 98 of Greg Hooks.
11th position going to be Frank Wasilia III, a series champion in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. James Pileski will start on the outside of the next row with the 93 cars in 12th. Ron Flagg, the 26, another champion, in 13th spot. Alongside him will be Kelly Dahl. And rounding out your top 15, the 07 of Derek Walker.
Alex Halinar in the 64 is going to start 16th. Rod Mitten in the 92 is going to start 17th. 18th goes to Josh Hanner in the 24. 19th will be Dan Harrington in the 09. And William Roberts Jr. starts 20th.
The final 4 cars up and down at time is Matt Quick, Shane McEachin, Johnny Giratano, and Sean Turner. Provisionals handed out to Ryan Keese, Daniel Ferguson, Tommy Hall, Kent Connolly, and Jimmy Todd. 29 cars get set to do battle. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Green flag flies, and we're racing from Daytona. The clash at the beach is green, and big question is, does the outside lane become the place to be as it was earlier tonight in the B main? It's Bassini on the bottom. Car length advantage to turns 1 and 2, trying to get these cars up to full bore for the first time.
Yeah, working their way through the corner right now. That bottom line seems to be where they need to be currently. Bassini leading the charge right now on the bottom side. He's going to move up to the high side with Josh Ball. They're going to now be pushed by the 88 of Jorgensen Jr. So everybody now trying to make their way to that high side because they saw earlier in the B main that it worked. Bassini, last week's all-star winner, now leads the charge as they head off of turn number 4. Josh Ball right behind him.
Out of all of the tracks that we've seen so far this season for the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, and for all the tracks we've seen in the Ron Car Truck Tour tonight, top side in both places. The trucks ran up against the fence in Kansas, now top side at Daytona. Doesn't mean the bottom doesn't work. Those are Hendrick Motorsports teammates pairing up. 48-88 drop down low, and they blow by the one of Bassini. Outside doesn't have anywhere near the speed as the bottom when there is no help up top side, and Bassini going to fall back to third. The Merchant thought about jumping up in line, trying to join the party up top, not going to be able to do so, so he has to rely on Stephanie Lesentine's number 43 Ford Fusion to make something happen. The outside good by 2 car lengths, and Ball drops to the inside.
Yeah, I think he dropped to the inside there because he kind of got out of line right there. Jorgensen had a great run with the help of Bassini, so I don't think that was a planned move right there for Josh Ball. I think it was one out of necessity, and so he's going to drop to the bottom there. He's got a lot of help, though. He's got a great car behind him. That 42 has set the Merchant. He didn't run the trucks earlier, saved it all for this one now. He's got to let it all hang out now as Jorgensen still leads him off of turn number 2.
And that 48 again came down to Seth the Merchant, the 7. Now that 43, a Lesentine. Also going to jump up to the outside of the racetrack. That's 5 versus 3. Inside of the top 8 at the moment. Outside overwhelmingly has the higher number of drivers, which again, not normally what you see here on Friday night. So it's an adjustment for all of these guys. Not only just how to drive this circa 07 track that is extremely bumpy. The scan that was initially on the iRacing service before the repave a couple of years ago, and you can see that these guys fight through that. So not only is that a factor, but because topside the place to be for the most part, it is a different strategical approach to these 50 laps. You can't drive a race like you normally would, and we've seen it, especially in the B-Main. A couple of guys getting into the fence on their own. That is that learning curve. We go back to back, though. We'll be at this exact racetrack in 1 week's time for a feature race. So maybe pick up something tonight, going to the Throwback 300 next week with a little bit more track time as opposed to coming out here for this, and then that's it, Andy. But always circa 07, a wild card race on the year. And Josh Ball going to make it. Look at the 88, though. I just said those were teammates. 3 wide. I don't know how that's going to work. The Merchant to the bottom. 48 in the middle. The one of Bassini wants to go with the 88 up top, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay with them. No, he'll have to come down and work with Josh Ball, and that leaves Jorgensen out to dry now on the outside of the racetrack. I was just saying that those guys were teammates, and the 48 came up, the 88 not taking any of it.
No, he wasn't. That was an amazing move right there. Now they're going to, I thought they were going to go 3 wide there right now, but Seth the Merchant, he's going to go to the high side in front of Josh Ball, take over that high side as now they're trying to struggle now, it looks like, but they're going to get a run, nice run here off of the corner to 94. Frank Cilia and that throwback McDonald scheme there on the top side. He goes up in front of Seth the Merchant, now drops to the bottom. Now they're 3 wide. The 12 of Corey Henry has a nice little scare on the tri-oval right there, gets sideways. He's going to be able to merge back up into traffic now as you're still 2x2, but everybody can just see the cars all moving all over the place. Off of turn number 2, though, there's a dead heat. Seth the Merchant with the lead.
And for the 98 of Greg Cooks, the 28 of Shane McEachin, for them to move up the track together, allow that 12 to get back on track and not cause an accident as they squeeze 3 wide. A great heads-up move to keep this race under green flag conditions. How long can that last? That's the question. Up front, Seth the Merchant taking it over, but it is in line now. 3rd position at the line. Frank Wasilia the 3rd, who leads the inside charge. His assist comes from the 7 of Wofford. Kelly Dahl trouble the 11 car, 2nd time tonight, spinning it into turn number 1. That's down in the grass. It all started, I believe, Reeves got down onto the apron sideways. Dahl, same thing, spins into the grass, collects the race car. No caution flag, we stay green. Nobody involved. 3 wide again for the race lead. It's the 88 again, middle. This time Jorgensen will get it. 3 wide for 2nd.
Yeah, 3 wide. He had the help of his teammate. Now they're teammates again, working with each other. A few laps ago, it looked like they were against each other. Josh Ball giving them the great push right up the middle. They split the seam. They come right to the lead now. 88 back on top on that high side. Busilia trying to hang tough on the bottom. Wofford, though, they're making that top side extremely fast now. There's 6 cars there all lined up nose to tail.
The outside has had a little bit more, but really has not shown it very clearly now. You can see that those guys up top, strength in numbers. Jorgensen made the pass in the middle, but instead of holding that bottom, what did he do? First thing he did was jump up to the outside of the racetrack because he knows that that is the place you want to be, and his teammates behind him, albeit sometimes they're working as teammates one lap and the next lap they're going right at each other, but it is somewhat comforting to know that it's somebody behind you who's on your team. They know how you drive. Somewhat comforting, especially at a track like this. Other than that, you can't control anything. How about Wasilia from 11th position? He's led a lap already tonight. He's right there in the conversation as well. DeMerchant's on the outside of that 3rd row. Rod Flag trying to get to the bottom of him. Flag all the way back from 13th. Rod Minton, quiet. Look at the number 92, the Monster Energy Chevrolet, 17th up to the top 10.
Yeah, a bunch of guys making their way up, working their way through traffic. So definitely a racing track. Everybody able to make some moves, make some passes. It's all about picking the right line at the right time. And although that top line has been solid all night long and been the place really to be, you just shows that you can make some ground up on the inside also. And Rod Flag right now, look at him all the way to 4th. What a big moves for him and for the 94 right in front of him. So Frank Busilia and Rod Flag showing everybody how to get it done and get through traffic.
And as they sit at the moment, Mark Jorgensen Jr. in front of the field, still looking for a trip to victory lane if he wants to get into the chase conversation. All of the next 3-4 drivers behind them right now are in the chase at the moment. So the 88 knows the stakes, and he knows, oh, look at the 48 to the bottom. Not even clear on Busilia, but he'll do it anyways. Ducks down to the inside and pulls away to the 94 Ford Fusion. He'll get all the way up to alongside the number 48 machine there, but not close enough to challenge. He needs a push, and again, because you can't push in the corner, not that that really, again, is an option. We discussed that earlier tonight here, but not really the smartest idea. Talked about making some aggressive moves. They have not settled down since the drop to green flag. Already 11 laps in, and these guys still have the top 7 cars within 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, there's actually 11 cars in that lead group right there, which is pretty amazing. Doing a great job with it, but it shows with the difference in not being able to stay in even a bigger pack is just all these bumps and make the cars unsettling, and it allows that type of racing here that you're going to get a bunch of small packs all around this place. So the only thing that's going to bring them back together, unfortunately, is a caution. It's real tough to get single file and really draft up and catch up to a pack like you can on the smoother track on the more updated version of Daytona on iRacing. So it's a little different of racing when you come to this one. And right now, this front pack really just trying to hang on to it as the tires are starting to wear, the cars are emptying out in fuel, they get a lot looser. It's just it's a totally different scene right now, but that's still that top side doing what they can.
And you're on board with Rod Flag and just behind, though, into the outside wall. Down to the apron, he'll get the 1, the 43 of Stephanie Lessentine involved in this accident. Those 3 cars go to the apron. Nobody spins out. We will stay green through this one. It all starts with McEachin caught the fence and McEachin into the wall because Pileski was in the wall. I think he just followed him up there, came down, Lestantine, and that one of Cassini, who started from pole, the innocent victims.
Yep,
Caution flag
caution's
is out. Yeah. The race control going to throw the yellow. A 3-car accident in turns 3 and 4 will slow us down, and it'll give you the opportunity to take a look at that contact and what it entailed. Because of the time of that, Rodney Wofford, though, going to go back to the race lead.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for a couple of them. And again, you see that it happened right in the lead pack, you know, and just cars jumping around, and it doesn't take much, and especially like you talked about getting on these bumps, and the grip goes away when these cars are in the bumps like that, and just the slightest of little touches will send these cars around. So tough break for the 43, just kind of minding their own business, but end up caught up into this wreck, and it happens. It's exactly what happens at a place like this. You can mind your business. You can try to keep yourself out of trouble, but you can't control everybody else's moves.
And exactly, you know, in line with that as well. So this race, though, a good chunk of it gone. Kind of like we saw in the B-main a little bit earlier tonight. Restart going to come with less than 35 to go, but past the lap 15 marker. Question then becomes, you know, what are these guys doing fuel-wise? Can they make it to the end on fuel? Do they need to pit for fuel? They are running with a restricted fuel cell for this series, 70% fuel cell, one of the regulations that they drive within. They also have one quick repair. Cautions are on, obviously, and it's a fixed setup series. What does the 7 Rodney Wofford do? Does he elect to come down to the pit lane, or does this yellow give you enough time to save enough fuel to make it to the end? Leaders have grouped up behind the pace car, and it looks like all of them pit road bound, what should be the only scheduled stop on the night.
Yeah, they can make it on definitely one stop, so this is the one scheduled stop. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get another caution late in the going that they do come down 4 tires, but you definitely won't see them on the pit road when the green flag is out. But here they come all down pit road. Oh, Wofford overshoots his box. So does the 42 of Shane McEachin. So a couple of those front runners right there having some issues. Oh, even the Piscini, he overshoots his box. It looks like Frank Busilio is going to win the race out.
The 48, the 7, the 42. I mean, 3 guys in a row. First guy I saw that didn't blow it on the entry was Jorgensen. No, Jorgensen spins now. Jorgensen overshot his stall too. So 4 out of the top 5 drivers overshooting their pit stall, and Jorgensen, obviously frustrated about that mistake, knows he's got to get going, tries to win a race off in the pit lane, gives it too much, he spins it out, and he actually catches the fence in that. Don't know how much damage that may give him.
It doesn't look like much on there. The 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. having some issues getting off a pit road there, and like you said, just anxious and having that... seeing everybody else start going around you. We saw a couple guys. I think the 94 took only 2 tires. He came off pit road pretty quickly ahead of everybody else. But as we watch a replay here of Jorgensen coming off a pit road, just flat out spun it out. And then the problem is trying to get the thing back. Trying to get backed up, and you got all these other cars flying through there, Evan. So it makes it tough, and you definitely got to rely on a spotter or somebody keeping an eye out for you so you don't get any more damage. But tough break right there for the 88. He's been running strong all night long.
And again, if he does actually have damage that would, I guess, be enough to be worthwhile getting repaired, he may not take that at the moment either. I don't think that's the case for the 88. But it is good to note that if you do get some damage on that car and you have the quick fix, come down pit road, you don't have to use that quick fix. You use it, you get another accident, you're done. If you don't use it, you ride around, then you use it late. You have this chance that if you get another accident, you have not wasted that. So just another opportunity for these drivers to put a strategy twist into this. However, Frank Basilia from 11th to 1st position, William Roberts from 20th to 2nd, and Matt Quick from 21st to 3rd. The 94, the 09, the 89, they take over the race lead at Daytona. We'll step away for a brief moment on LSRTV and be back for the restart. You're watching the Clash at the Beach, a part of ISS on LSRTV.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Top 10 for most of this race, actually.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska.
And back live for the restart in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's Frank Basilia III, the driver of the 94 McDonald's Ford Fusion, going to bring us back to the green flag as we begin lap 18 of 50 in the Clash at the Beach, a main feature tonight on LSRTV with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Tonight marks race number 10, and outside of this, just 3 more races remain before we go to the 5th and 3rd annual iSuper Chase to determine who walks away with the big hardware in a couple of months. The pace car going to get down and away, though. What do they do on this stint? Daytona circa 07. Been an interesting one so far, and probably some of the most lead changes and passes we've seen all season long. The base car down and away. Frank's going to get going as we get back and away across the start-finish line. Green flag flies. No help, though, for the 94. Slacking behind him and trying to catch up. The number 89 of Matt Quick. That may give an advantage to William Roberts Jr. and the 7 Rodney Wofford. The 09 and the 7. 2 cars tangled up on top already. They pull a small advantage into the turn.
Yeah, they pull a slightly advantage, almost a car length now as they go down the back straightaway. But yeah, it looked like the 89 of Quick was caught sleeping there on that restart. Wasn't able to give any help to Basilia, and unfortunately for him, that's going to cost him the lead now. They make contact!
Oh no! Big wreck at the front of the field, and the big one strikes at Daytona. It's going to be in turns 3 and 4, and it's the big one. Lap number 18. It all breaks out, and your race leader, Frank Basilia III, is involved, and you know, that's the possibility of this one. The 7, the 09, the 09 comes down just a little bit. The 7 follows him, and they just meet each other. And once the 94 gets hit, that car shoots up the track, and you know, when those guys are sliding sideways in the middle of the pack, that still could have been a lot worse. Guys like the 92, the 1 going high, the 93, the 98 going low, but that's still a major accident. The big one at lap number 18.
Yeah, and if you hadn't used your reset yet, you're definitely going to be using it this time. A lot of shrapnel out there on the track, a lot of wrecked, damaged race cars, a lot of fast cars, because that happened right in the front of the field. Just kind of a freak accident. I don't know if it's, we've seen a couple of those here tonight. It could be the fact that we're approaching Halloween here tomorrow night, Evan. So all these guys having a little bit of issue with that. You know, I don't know if it's the bumps causing it to get loose. I don't know exactly what you could actually say would be the cause of this, but just some close-knit racing here. especially at Daytona. It's such a narrow track, and you're going to see pit road very busy with a lot of baseball bats and hammers trying to get these cars back on track.
Well, we're racing again underneath the bright sun of the Daytona International Speedway and the virtual Daytona Beach, Florida. But again, tonight racing on All Hallows Eve. Not necessarily the full moon out there on the racetrack, but some of the characteristics of some of those strange race parts have obviously come to light so far tonight. And this yellow, again, had a long green flag stretch to get it kicked off. Now at lap number 20, Rod Mitten going to find himself to the race lead. William Roberts Jr. still up there. Matt Quick still up there. Again, incident that could have been a lot worse. That, I mean, really, it's not that bad. Still the big one. Still the biggest accident we've seen all night long. The biggest thing is, we heard it when we were talking about Josh Ball when he stayed up here and chatted with us with the B-Main Indy, is that those guys that already advanced in, everybody can win at this track, but, if you want to be frank about it, they're the better drivers that already qualified in. They're the seasoned veterans and stuff. So they can handle it, but, it is very difficult to get 30-plus cars out there in a practice race and see what it's like with 30 cars of dirty air pounded down on you if you're in the middle of the pack. We saw the B-Main. That one was 25, 26 cars that were still in it at the end. But again, once you get that full field and you're on the main stage, everything's a little bit more at it. And I think that accident actually comes from something when they were being the least aggressive. They were going much harder than that earlier, and they made it work.
Oh, they absolutely did when it was. I think, like I said, I talked about it a little bit during the B-Main. It's all about the concentration. It's all about staying focused. And when you obviously these are short little races, you think it'd be easier to stay focused. But sometimes when you get comfortable and you get comfortable with the car, comfortable in the groove, comfortable with the people you're working with, you end up starting to lose focus, and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing at that time. You start thinking of other things or what I could do next, my next move. Things like that happen, and then what happens as a result of it is an accident, and it ends up being a big one in this instance, and takes out a lot of cars.
Well, if you weren't with us now 2 weeks ago for the last time we were out on track for round number 9, take you through some of those results, and as well kind of ties into the championship conversation. Tanner Mann, back for his third start on the season, goes on to win at Talladega. Wins that race after leading 7 laps. Stephanie Lessentine so close to a first win in second. Josh Ball third. Daniel Harrington fourth. Tommy Holland fifth. Those will be the drivers that are available tonight for the I-5 bonus. $10 if Hall, Mann, Lessentine, Ball, or Harrington win. They get $10 if they don't. $5 will be added to that prize purse, and 5 drivers that finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here tonight will get a shot at it in next week's race right back here at Daytona. But the exciting thing about that win for Tanner Mann is he's not locked into the chase, because much like you've seen in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, still have to be top 30 in points. That's the goal for the 5 for the rest of the season. Not being here tonight does not help.
Nope, all invaluable points not being gotten here tonight. So you don't want to say that a win's a waste, because you know what? A win's a win, and still get the trophy, still got to put that up on the mantle. It's still going to check it out. So obviously not running a full season, not going to help, but for guys that are trying to make it in on points currently, it's not a bad thing.
The pace car gets down, 29 laps to go at Daytona. Back it away across the start-finish line for the first American Ethanol restart on the evening. Advantage, Rod Mitten. The top 2, though, outside looking like it does normally every week. Not a good restart for the 64 of Alex Halliday, and that leaves the 48, this 96 up there with almost no support. Wofford realizes this. He wants to be one of those top cars on the outside when it gets moving, so he takes advantage of the gap and he goes high.
That he does, but now that leaves Josh Ball. Now he's going to lead that freight train, but now they're going to drop down to the bottom, leave him high to dry. Wofford, he likes to run that high side. We see it week in and week out. He's going to stay up there. He's going to try to get him back up to the front. Right now, though, that 92 Rod Mitten, we haven't talked much about him in the last couple of weeks. He's doing a great job with Rittenauer, pushing him. He's got Shane McKeechin in line, and the 36 of Sean Turner. They're all trying to make it happen. McKeechin, though, he now jumps out to the high side as they head back into turn number 1, trying to get that high side moving once again.
McEachin, another one of the drivers that has gone quite the ways tonight, started 22nd. He wants the race lead. The outside's going to be able to give it to a new race leader at a turn 2. Shane McEachin takes over the top spot, and you can see, even though the 48 wasn't actually pushing him, that aero push that he's given him, that 28 all the way up against the outside wall into the corner. Not a whole lot of him to spare. The 48, no contact. Josh Ball, that car going to go high. He's in the outside fence, and somehow they're all going to hang on. No, they're right behind them. Caution flag flies hard into the inside wall for Mark Jorgensen. The 18 of Jimmy Todd, he's as well hard into the outside wall. Caution flag will fly, and the 088 of Kent Connolly going to be the trigger for the yellow after he gets spun in turns 3 and 4. This incident, unrelated to what we saw in front of them. The 11 just accidentally hooked Kent Connolly. They spun. That was the caution. And then after the caution was out, you saw the accident with the 18 and the 88.
Yeah, that was just a product of some hard racing right now. We get the replay up. Slight contact right there coming out of the corner. And it's kind of amazing what you see when these cars get caught up like that, and they just kind of almost hook into each other, and both of them go sliding down and hit that inside wall pretty hard right there. Lots of damage to those cars. Hopefully, I'm not sure exactly if they were involved in that last wreck right there, but hopefully I can get some damage fixed for these guys and get them back out on track. If not, definitely a short evening and not what they wanted here tonight, especially that 88 machine, trying to keep the momentum going after that great run there in the B main.
So pit lane again this time, busy and full with a lot of drivers who try to get their cars fixed up. Everybody had pitted that last time under the caution flag. Fuel not a concern, and at this point, at least for the top 5 running guys, it is not a concern either to get tires. Top 3 going to be the ones that stay out. Sean Turner from 4th down pit road. Wofford stays out. Ball comes down. A split decision on the pit strategy.
Yeah, split decision. We knew about it coming in. One stop was pretty much all that these guys were going to have to do to make it on the end on fuel. But like I said, on that first pit stop, if a caution came out, I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys come down to get some tires, maybe regroup, try to get teamed up with a teammate to help them push themselves up to the front. So not surprised some guys came in. Not surprised that a bunch of guys stayed out, choosing that track position, hoping to stay out of the big one. Although the big one we did have here tonight, we saw that happen and start with a couple of the guys in the top 3. So you're not safe anywhere when it comes to a play track, but a lot of guys choosing the track position, just trying to be up front when it matters the most.
The scoring going to continue to cycle through, so we'll give you your iRacing midway race break when we come back. For now, though, we'll step away, take our final full commercial break here on the evening, and get set to come back now. Going to be on the downhill side of things. That means that the lap time's going lower and the anticipation going up. It's about to get exciting at Daytona. We'll see you in a moment. You're watching the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV. Rod Mitten leads at the halfway point in the Clash for the Beach on LSRTV. Back in a moment. Coming back for the restart.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look, all the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing bucks. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Lights on top of the pace car go out as we get set to go back racing at the Daytona International Speedway. We welcome you back inside the LSRTV broadcast booth. Evan Pasoko and Andy Kessler along for the ride with you. Round 10 on the 2015 Season 5 campaign for the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, Clash at the Beach. From Daytona, Rod Mitten would be a feel-good win if the 92 can get the job done. Ray Rittenauer, same spot, the 87 on the outside of the front row in second spot. However, although you're technically controlling a lane at this Daytona 07 circuit, as we've seen throughout the B main, throughout this first half of the A main, you don't lead for much, and really, it's either go forward or go backwards. Nobody can just sit still. A lot of the time, Andy, what we preach is, if you're a guy like right now, take the 28 to Shane McKeechin, that bright yellow Dollar General Toyota as an example. If that's where you're sitting in a regular race, you're not going anywhere. If you're the car behind him, the 64 of Alex Hallinar, you're not going anywhere. Here, though, you can't sit and ride because you'll end up outside the top 20 in 5 laps. These guys are that aggressive because they know that this race with the caution flags could really start to get dragged out quickly. They are taking advantage of every single lap they get.
Hey, you said it right. I mean, these guys are almost like toddlers as far as they can't sit still. No one's content to ride in any particular line, which is cool. I mean, they're going for it. They're racing hard every lap, and it puts on for a great show for us.
And it's about to ramp up this time at 4. The pace car down to the way. Could it be for one of the final times tonight? Green flag flies. 23 laps to go at Daytona. And Rod Mitten from 17th spot and from 28th in practice leads us back to the green flag. This time, though, everybody on the 8 ball. A couple of restarts where we had some guys sagging back. All of these guys still jam-packed in 1 and 2. The top 13 drivers within a second.
Yeah, that was a great restart by everybody, and a good jump by the outside line right now off of turn number 2. 87, or Ray Rittenauer, we were talking about him. That'd be such a feel-good win right there for the 87 machine. He's got that famous 7, Rodney Wofford there on the outside lane, trying to give him a hand. Rittenauer jumps down to the bottom, gets the lead now. He's going to be your leader off of turn number 4. Wofford now, he's going to have some help. He's got the 12 of Corey Henry trying to push him back to the front.
And that 92 gets shuffled up at a line in front of the 7 of Rodney Wofford. So 92, 7, 12 up top. On the inside, it's the 87 and the 28. You see the 12 of Corey Henry. Car gets tight into the corners. Got to bring it back down. Luckily for him, there's no car on the inside, or that could have been a lot sketchier. Used a lot of the racetrack to be able to hang on to that. Sean Turner, though, slowing down the back straightaway, and hearing the Under Armour Chevy caught the fence as he's up against the outside wall down the back straightaway and losing a lot of spots from what was 9th position at the start-finish line. Looks like he falls to 21st.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of damage on that right side as when he was going in the corner. I don't think he had any help there, but I don't know if the air took him off, hit a bump the wrong way or something, but just the car just really got strangely loose or got out of control out from under him right there, got into the wall, able to hang on to it, keep it straight, but there's a lot of damage on that right side. That's going to definitely affect him here. As the front of the field, though, it's really heating up there. Wofford with help of Corey Henry. They got Shane McKeechin. McKeechin's going to drop low now. He's going to try to take that second spot from Corey Henry. He has no help, though. Nobody on the bottom to help him. Wofford trying to take both lanes right there. McKeechin's going to squeeze in the bottom. He's going to try to take the lead by himself off of turn 4.
And it's the staggering that scares me. 7 good lead at the start-finish line, and everybody was side by side on each other's door. We're fine. The problem is when you got guys jumping to the bottom, jumping to the top. It's not when you're side by side is with the problem. It's when somebody's nose is just still at your quarter panel. You're making moves like that. You're not going to glance over a second time. You don't see a car there, you go. That is when things get treacherous. You're seeing it up front with these guys, going high, going low. The 12 car, Corey Henry, thinking about jumping up in front of the 93 of Pileski. He is going to do so into turn 3. All he's doing is following the 7. Now to the inside, though, goes Shane McKeechin. It is a constant game, and as we said it on Monday nights for the Full Throttle Cup Series, full contact chest and almost a little bit of contact there for second. 28 and 12 get together.
Yeah, they do, and the 12 almost looked like he was going to run into the 7 just in front of him. The 92 just behind these guys got out of line, dropped down to the bottom, kind of in a strange way right there. So everybody kind of just bouncing all over the place on this rough track. And but it's making for some exciting action right now. Is off of turn number 2. That top side, they're all tucked up nice and neat. Nose to tail, those 4 guys, a huge run down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3, the front 2, they're going to clear Shane McEachin. Do they drop down the front? They do. They take over the race lead.
A reminder that all of these drivers came down pit road after the caution flag about 14-15 laps in. Fuel is not a concern anymore. More contact a little bit back in the pack. The 93 of James Pileski. Left side damage going to be added to that race car after he made pretty hard contact with Josh Ball. Ball trying to go up to get in line with the car in front of him. Pileski trying to do the same thing. They meet each other, and we were just talking, the 48 had some minor left rear damage. We were using our binoculars up here to tell the team what that was looking like, Andy. Now, you take a look on board, and Pileski, a much worse off car after that contact. Definitely getting the short end of the straw because the left side of that race car is absolutely torn up. If any good news is, it doesn't look like he's fallen like a rock, but he's definitely not up there on the back of the 28 like he was before. That car obviously ailing.
Yeah, he's ailing just a bit. He's got some rear damage also, so some damage going to hurt him a little bit. He might be able to get some help now. Shane McEachin, he's going to drop down to the bottom side now, realizing he doesn't have much help on that high side. McEachin now to the bottom, top 4. They're all single file. It's a battle right now for that 5th spot as they're side by side down the back straightaway. That's the 92 of Rod Nitton. He's on the inside. He's trying to get some help from Rittenauer. Not going to happen right now. The top 4 or 5 guys still single file. Lap traffic now coming on the high side. This might get a little sketchy here with all the bumps off turn 4.
Oh, the 36, he's in the fence and comes down just after Frank Vasilia gets clear. So no contact for Sean Turner. He literally, though, put that car in the wall to give the race leaders every single extra inch they could have gotten, and that may have been the difference between those guys being able to make it through there with hotly contested side-by-side going on and then getting in an accident. This time around will be 15 laps to go. Wofford back to the race lead in this one. Corey Henry second, Josh Ball third. Still top side for the 48 machine as he tries to go on to pick up the W here tonight at Daytona. Wofford into tonight. Again, we've talked so much about the 7. A lot of his success being here at Daytona. Very strong at this track. He's good. A lot of the names inside the top 5, top 10 right now. A win would lock them into the chase, something that they have yet to do to this point. A little bit of an interesting moment just behind Josh Ball, that 28 machine, Shane McEachin, Andy. I don't know if it's me, but it feels like that car has been struggling with handling just a little bit all night long. We got awfully close to the wall again the last circuit around.
Yeah, he has, but there's something definitely amiss. Oh, as Rittenauer has a little bit of trouble, comes back up the track. Everybody able to avoid him. He's out of control right now into the grass. That's the 87 car, able to keep it straight. Green flag still in the air. He's going to keep it way low, come up back up into the track now. But away from anybody, he's not going to have any help. A tough break right there for the 87.
And all that was is the car just starting to get tight. It started to get tight, and then eventually, you just couldn't keep going. Caution flag flies, and they are 3 wide for third on the racetrack. Yellow's out. It looks like some spinners in turn number 4. William Roberts Jr. turned around. So Frank Vasilia, I was just about to mention, he was behind the car that got into the fence just before that, Andy. They just ran out of room. They got tight. They followed each other. And now Vasilia in another incident back-to-back here. This time, though, he gets tagged for the number 09. And again, another case like we saw in the truck race where there's not a whole lot of room these guys giving each other. The 09 is pinched on the bottom. The number 94 machine gets turned, though. Both of those cars go around. Caution flag is out, and that again sets us up for a caution and sets us up for a restart. This time, though, it'll be within of 10 laps to go or so, and that puts you in a spot where you got to start talking. Next caution just about ends that race. Take a look at the second look, rather at that replay. A view of the incident up now on the LSRTV replay.
Yeah, tough break, just running out of room right there. The two of them, probably both with the same idea of where they want to go on the track. Not a lot of room right there for either of them to go through the bumps cleanly, and that's gonna cause them to have some issues. Pit road's open, leaders all staying out. Obviously good on fuel. track position, like you said, it's going to be under 10 laps to go here when we get the restart. So track position is key. We're running out of laps to get to the front.
And we talked about the possibility of everybody pits you're good on field. There's still that chance that if people come down and take pit road, they come down for tires, at least for your race leaders. The track position much more invaluable than that because they'll stay out there and maintain to run in those top positions. Next time out on Friday night with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series will be Friday, November the 6th, 10 o'clock Eastern Time for round 11, the Throwback 300, 120 laps at Daytona International Speedway. We'll be right back here for a 120 lap affair next Friday, preceded in our Friday night LSRTV primetime doubleheader race by the IROC Race 2 as well. And then still coming up tonight, you're working number 2 of our LSRTV back-to-back, but it is round 2 of 3 on the evening on the LSRTV broadcast networks. Coming up at 12 o'clock Eastern Time in just over 15 minutes on LSRTV 2. For the first time, you can catch the season finale for the current season with the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Truck Series. Again, that one can be found on LSRTV 2. If you want to find information on how to find LSRTV 2, you can find us online, livesimracing.com, or on our Facebook page at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Rodney Wofford tries to win the Clash at the Beach. The question is, can he hang on for a little bit longer? We have not seen the same car lead us back to the green flag 2 times in a row, so Wofford better hope we don't see another caution flag. He's your leader at Daytona. We'll step away and go LSRTV side by side through the end of this race. You're watching the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series Clash at the Beach on LSRTV, the home to the 2015 and 2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Top 10 for most of this race, actually.
Back live as the lights around the virtual Daytona International Speedway are extinguished and we get set to go back at it. It'll be right on the money, which makes the math, Andy, a little bit easier than what it was a little bit earlier tonight when we were talking pit strategy at Kansas. 10 laps to go at Daytona. 25 miles left in this Clash at the Beach. Rodney Wofford leads it. Do you think he can hang on, though?
Well, he's got a good opportunity here. He's got the 92 Rod Mitten who's hungry for a win. It's been a while for him, so it's all about the restart here. Can he get up to the top side? You know, that's where Rodney Wofford wants to be. That's where he's been all night long. That's where he's been at his best and been the fastest to lead some laps. So he's got some tough company down there on that outside. The 12 of Corey Henry's definitely going to be giving Josh Ball a run for his money.
And he should, because again, if somebody gets the win tonight, as it is in every single regular season race in this series, you not only get that ticket to the championship, but these guys actually walk away with a trophy if they win it tonight. The pace car is down and away. Give me 10 more. Green flag back in the air. 25 miles left from Daytona Beach, and we're back underway down to turn number 1. Rodney Wofford in front of the field, the number 7 machine. Look how tight it gets behind him. McKeechin wants to go 3 wide. That door going to be shut. He's got him back out of it.
Yeah, he had to make the smart move right there, back out of it, regroup, try to get around these guys in front of him. Top side now, prevailing just slightly on the back straightaway. McKeechin still looking for that middle lane. He's going to make it 3 wide now as they're going to head down into turn number 3. Something's got to give right here. McKeechin still on the middle lane right now as the high side now checks up the 12. Now the 24 of Handers having some issues in the back. He makes contact with the 2 of Giratano. We got a caution on the speedway in turn 4.
Everybody slows and scatters. The caution's out. Oh, big damage for Josh Hanner. The number 24 machine is absolutely demolished in turn number 4. The caution flag is out, and we'll work on getting the replay up for you in a moment. This starts for the 24 into turn 3. Check up in front of him. He gets hard into the back of Chris Bassini, up into the fence. At that point, it's bad enough. He comes back down the racetrack, though, gets up, and when the 10 car gets into him, I mean, Josh Hanner goes airborne. That car barrel rolling more than I've said back-to-back tonight. It lands on the tires. But Josh Hanner, for a guy that we were talking about who, in the points, is the only driver right now that will advance to the chase based on those points, well, takes a big hit in the points tonight, because unless he has a quick fix, that would end his evening. We'll have to see. He brings it into the stall. I don't see a fresh race car coming right outside. That's bad news.
Yeah, it's definitely bad news this late in the game. You're pretty much putting yourself out of it. Not going to get a win this week, and you know, he needed the points to continue to stay ahead of cars like the 12 of Corey Henry. Corey Henry, we talked about him being only 4 points out of a chase spot, not because of a win, but based on points. So a good run so far. That 12 car sitting 5th right now on the track. So Corey Henry's got a great opportunity here to get himself into the chase based on points, if not get a win here.
Tonight's iSuperspeedway Clash at the Beach is presented by the Holy Union of Rodney and Mrs. Piscini. There's a whole inside joke behind that. We'll spare all the details, but Andy, it was Piscini who won the B main, and now it's Mr. Rodney Watford who's trying to win the A main. Fittingly enough, the 7 machine, though, he has front-end damage, and he's had that for quite some time, and we haven't really talked about it, well, because it hasn't been affecting the race car, but we haven't seen a long green flag run where the guys behind him have really been able to set up and go for him. If a car is going to get hurt with front-end damage, it's going to be the first car in line, and that's where the 7 is. So he's in the worst spot he could be with that damage. My concern as a driver would be, if I have front-end damage, my temps can be going up without notice, and you could lose the engine. I feel like that 7, though, has had that damage enough that that's not the case, but there's a lot of uncertainties around the performance of that Race Federation Incorporated Chevy. He'll just have to hold him off one more time, whether that be one lap, whether that be to turn 1, and whether that be all the way through the checkered flag green. You gotta hold him off one more time.
Yep, he's got one more chance now to maintain this and get the back-to-back wins here for the night. Be the first one to do it in a points event night to win the A main or the B main, and then come through and win the A main. Lots of work, though. Anything can happen. These laps are very long, 2.5 miles, so you can swap leads 3, 4, 5 times before you get back to the start-finish line. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, and he's got some pretty seasoned veterans that are hungry for more wins right behind him. Josh Ball, of course, he's looking for another win this season, last season's champion. So a lot of guys up here, up in the front in the mix, and some guys that are just outside the top 5 that have an opportunity also to make themselves get up here in the front now in the closing laps.
So the lights of the pace car will stay on. That's 2 to green. So we take lap 45 next time. They'll go out. We'll go green with lap number 46. We'll get 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. It'll be a 5-lap shootout to the end, and that will wrap things up here from Daytona. Not done though yet tonight. As we mentioned, we want to thank everybody first off for tuning in to LSRTV on iRacing Live. If you want some more action, if you're on the West Coast and you want your All Hallows Eve to continue, 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, LSRTV 2 has coverage of the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Truck Series for the first time on LSRTV 2. You can find the link to that broadcast on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Live Sim Racing TV. And if you're a fan of short track racing, the biggest short track racing event on the sim all year continues for the next 2 days at LSRTV. As always, the official home to Sim Auto Racing Association Racing. The Sarah Fall Brawl Spectacular Day 6 begins tomorrow. 3 feature races at 150 laps apiece. That's back to back to back, Andy, and that's over 6 hours of short track racing tomorrow, and then back at it on Sunday on LSRTV and on iRacing Live for the final 2 features, 200 laps, 250 laps, the Pro Late Models and the Super Late Models. Again, all of that information and more, we encourage you to check us out online at livesimracing.com. Let's keep going with the schedule. Monday night, the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series back in action. Tuesday, though, the date that I have circled, you can find LSRTV not here, but go to iRacing.com and iRacing on YouTube, broadcasting from their official channel for the iRacing.com NASCAR Pro Series for the 2015 and 2016 schedule. Excited for that one, to say the least. And a lot of these guys, maybe not a lot, but quite a few guys that we've seen in this series, guys that we've seen win already tonight, past or current Pro Series drivers. That series, only 9 races to determine the final 20 locked-in spots for the 2016 NASCAR Peak Anti-Freeze Series. A lot on the line every single Tuesday night. That's a for sure one to tune into.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the short season, 9 races, probably 1 drop week, I think they would throw in there, iRacing would. So you don't have much of an opportunity here. You have a bad race that's going to put you in a position you probably don't want to be in as far as trying to qualify for the Peak Antifreeze Series. So, yeah, 9 races, we talk about that. That's just going to up the excitement week in and week out, and you really got to put together a nice string. There can't be any bad luck for you if you want to advance.
So the lights off on a pace car. We were 10 to go, now we're 5 to go. A lot of the guys out here, the cars don't look as good as they did when they rolled them off of the haulers. It is a beaten and battered limp for many to the start-finish line and to the checkered flag. Who wins at Daytona? Do we see a first-time winner? Do they, open up another spot, and do we add another driver to the iSuper Chase? Those questions, well, they're about to be answered. The pace car is going to get down and away. Rodney Wofford trying to win this race, going to lead us back to the green flag. He wants number 3 on the season. Green flag flies in, back and away we go. Side by side to the start-finish line, and everybody already beating and banging all over each other to turn number 1 and 2 as they try to get these cars back up to full speed, already approaching 175 miles an hour.
Trying to get up to full speed. They're side by side all the way through the
pack.
Big trouble!
Big trouble. The 28 of Shane McKeechin around. Caution flag is out. The huge one in turn number 2. An absolute melee in turns 1 and 2. Caution flag is out. This race is over. And that was a very strange incident in turns 1 and 2 that's going to end this race under the caution flag. We'll work on getting the replay up for you, and it all starts with the 92 car on the bottom side. Rod Minton just lost the handle on it. He got onto the yellow line just a little bit, Andy. That car broke sideways. He got up, and attribute a little bit of netcode to this as well, because once he hit the 28, I mean, they just shot to the wall. Demergent hard in the fence, the 28 machine as well, and the caution flag comes out, and iRacing giving the win to Rodney Wofford. Race control going to review the point of caution in comparison to the race leaders side by side, kind of like what we saw this past weekend at Talladega, Andy. So this one's still unofficial between the 48 and the 7. Only thing I can guarantee you is Shane McKeechin, you better not have had his force feedback on very high, because he one of the drivers that got hit pretty hard. And another guy that went for quite the ride that's enjoying the fact that this is a sim, Derek Walker, up in the air into the catch fence and up and over a few times.
Yes, we are all fortunate this is a sim, because if this was real any week that we race, we'd have a lot of hurt bodies out here. But
Instead, we just have hurt feelings a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes I think the hurt feelings hurt these guys more than it would have broken bones. So, yeah, a lot of things happen like that. But you know what? Look at. I know they're going to review this, but I don't know if iRacing really has ever gotten it wrong. But I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think, I think they just announced it. So the 7 was ahead of them. So yeah, Randy Woff. We talked about it, Evan, last week. Bassini winning both mains, but it was the All-Star race, so it didn't really count. But we got our first time guy who's going to do that this week.
And I can confirm, I've gone back, that I've checked the tapes, and again, what we assume race control doing is trying to line up when the lights on a pace car come on to where those guys were. Exactly what we saw at Talladega with the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. As far as I can tell, as soon as those lights turn on the pace car, I take a look up front. It's not a lot, and if you want to see a picture, we'll either get it for you post-race here, or you can find it on our Facebook page, but I mean, that's as close as, if not closer, than what we saw at Talladega with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joey Logano up at the front of the field. So it's tight, but the good news is, for the admins, there's a camera right where those guys were. The 7 of Rodney Wofford, without a doubt, the driver that was leading at the point of caution. Talked all night about the fact how we minorly changed the chase qualifications and such, Andy. So you get a win, and as long as you're top 30 in points, you're in. All of that talk of spoilers and such, Wofford will take 2 to go this time by, and we got a guy picking up his 3rd win on the season.
Yeah, 3rd win of the season. That means taking it away, like you said, from somebody that hasn't gotten it yet, but at the same time, that still leaves an open points position to be had by somebody. Obviously, Hanner's happy that happened with the incident he's had here late in the going, and the trouble that's going to cost him a bunch of points. The 12 of Corey Henry, who was 4 points out of a chase spot based on points, is sitting 4th right now. So a great job by him and his team here tonight that they were able to get him up to the front and put him in a spot where he can gain a bunch of points on these guys and get himself in. Now the whole thing is to survive a whole 120 laps here next week. So
yeah,
a lot. We thought we saw some excitement in a 25-lap feature, and then now this 50-lap feature. I can't imagine what that 120-lap race is going to do for us next week.
Yeah, you talk about the 25-lap B main tonight, the 50-lap A main. Add those together, and you're just shy of 2/3 of the total distance for next week's contest. Right back here at the Daytona International Speedway, the circa 07 circuit, always the wild card. It's always an exciting one. And I'll tell you this much. Rodney Wofford, it's almost funny because taking a look at those guys side by side, remember the damage on the nose of the 7? Well, I'm taking a look, and again, we'll show you the official, we have a photo here, but, that really doesn't mean a whole lot, Andy, so we'll hold off on anything there. But again, the race control confirming that the 7, the winner, but, from what I'm looking at, that dent in the nose on Rodney Wofford almost screwed him there.
Yeah, it did. It could have in the long run, so... very fortunate for him that he was able to, get these cautions when they fell and be able to stay out. But yeah, that dent when you go and look at the picture, if it was any bit more, you got into it a little bit harder, you might have lost it literally by an accident.
Yeah. These guys, again, continue to pace. We talked about a lot of guys being beaten and battered trying to make it to the end in this race. What that entails as well is the fact that these guys may not make it to the end. I don't think any of our race leaders are in a spot where, they'd have a major problem attempting to get to the end. But we see a couple times somebody gets caught up in an incident, and everybody tries to limp home. Everybody wants to make it to the end of the race, and you're losing engines on the last lap, and you got guys trying to push each other to the end. You know, that's the ultimate scenario there. But again, you can see a lot of that smoke in the back of the back. Not a concern for Rodney Wofford. He's with inside 2.5 miles to go. He'll pick up the checkered flag from Daytona, and then we'll be back in a moment to wrap things up. But the 7 Chevrolet of Wofford, you can't say enough. In Season 4, he swept Daytona Speed Weeks at this very racetrack. He won the Sprint Unlimited equivalency in the iSuperspeedway shootout. He won his duel to start on pole for the iSuperspeedway 500, and he won that main event. Back here in his stomping grounds, a new paint scheme, a new season, and a new and rejuvenated shot at a championship, and he proves tonight that even with damage, this is still his house.
Yeah, it's pretty neat when you can have a driver have a track that they're just so comfortable at, and they do really well at. You know, and some guys, they have a few of those they can do it, but it's got to give you a lot of confidence when you come to a place that you know you've won at a lot. You know how to run, you know how to get around this place. You know what the draft will do. It definitely helps. It builds the confidence, and when you can keep adding to those win totals at the same track all the time. It's definitely something cool, and definitely something that I'm sure he's pretty excited about also.
And the good news for him would be that this season comes to an end here at Daytona. Turn number 4, though, for the final time. It'll be the 3rd time, though, on the season. Final time, and across the start-finish line into the tri-oval. The checker will fly alongside the yellow. Rodney Wofford, your winner at the Daytona International Speedway. He'll take this one home. Problems, though, at a turn number 4. Something going on coming out of the last quarter, guys. We've had an accident coming to the line, and I told you it wasn't done. Contact that looks like Stephanie Lessentine on the outside of the racetrack. Not sure what the 96 was doing. The 96 just dumped her. Don't know if there was anything intentional behind that, but the 36 just goes up and turns her. She comes down the track, and it sends Dan Harrington into the wall, and he doesn't get his finishing spot now. He was a top 10 car. He's now 17th.
Yeah, that's pretty wild right there. I really want to know what happened right there, but that was something that was really just not, I don't know, that was very strange.
And race control's discussing the incident with them now, and we'll keep tabs on that, though. 7's going to come to burn it down, and he'll celebrate. And Andy, you could add this, another reason to the list of why guys are happy this is a sim, because if it's not, you might see some fisticuffs post-race. It's sure to be an exciting post-race show. We'll be back at Daytona in a moment. Rodney Wofford, your winner.
Top 10 for most of this race, actually.
Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
We're back live at the Daytona International Speedway for the post-race show from the clash at the beach at Rodney Wofford. I can no longer say that we have not had somebody win the B main and go on to win the A main. We saw it last week, Andy. It was the All-Star race. I said, okay, it doesn't count, Rodney Wofford. Make sure that that can no longer be said. As he wins the B main, goes on to finish in the top spot, he'll take the hardware along with his third win on the season. We welcome you back into the LSRTV post-race show from the Daytona International Speedway. And, got things rolling right along here, though, live in just about 5 minutes on LSRTV 2, so gonna get the interviews kicked off right away and caught up in the pit lane with the driver that comes home in third place tonight with the 12 machine of Corey Henry. Corey, first off, congratulations to you coming home at a podium finish tonight. What happened, though, on that restart there? You guys come to the green, there's 5 laps to go. Next thing you know, the car in front of you goes straight up the hill, and somehow you're not a part of that one.
Yeah, I got really lucky there. As everybody knows, Daytona 07, there's a lot of bumps through the turns, especially 1 and 2. It looked like the 92 might have hit one of the bumps a little too hard, got on the apron, lost a little bit, and slid up the track. And luckily, I had just enough room to slide in underneath and missed the carnage that happened behind us. Yeah, I was just kind of the situation of being in the right place at the right time, and finally ended up on the right side of one of those late race cautions.
So walk us through this race. And again, you guys will be back at this Daytona 07 circuit next week for an endurance event. But tonight, first taste of it on the season. I mean, it was as wild as it could ever be, especially early. Surprised that you guys had that much green flag racing. And I know a couple of cautions, a little bit more than you guys would have liked. But for the most part, it was thrilling for us to watch.
Yeah, it's always fun when we get to go to Daytona 07. For everybody that's been on the iRacing.com service since pretty much since the last 5 years, this is the Daytona that we're used to, really. We've only had the new Daytona update for just a couple of years, so guys like me that's been around for a while, it's always fun to come back to where the original roots were for plate race at iRacing.com. So I'll look forward to this race. It's challenging in its own way, whereas, like I said earlier, the bumps in the lower part of the turns, you hit those just right, you're going to end up pushing up and taking out a car on the outside. So the outside comes into play, and it makes for a challenge for all of us drivers. And it's fun. It's different. It's not all the time full throttle, hold the car to the white line. It's beating and banging, finding your way through the turns. It's fun. I love coming here. I wish we got a win, but I'll take a top 3 any day at Daytona 07.
It was a well-earned one as well, because a lot of the seasoned veterans with problems tonight. The high side, as you mentioned, a big factor tonight, which is something we don't normally see. And you put that AMD number 12 Chevrolet on the podium tonight. Corey, got to let you go here, but before we let you go, sponsors, shout-outs, anybody else you want to thank for the strong run here tonight?
I want to give a shout-out to AMD for supplying my graphics driver tonight. I actually had to update my driver because of Windows 10 tonight. We went to Kansas earlier in the truck series, and the entire track ended up being pitch black. So I got to thank AMD for the beta drivers. Fix that up before we got going green. I want to thank everyone at Big City Motorsports. Got to thank Derek Walker, Chris Passini, Jeff Figlin, Greg Hooks. Also want to give a shout out to Rodney Wofford. We worked together well tonight. We stayed up front. Congratulations to him on another win. It opens up another chase spot for us once the chase starts, so hopefully I can squeak in on points if I don't get a win. And it's a great race tonight. Thanks everyone. I want to thank Rod Flag for putting on the league, and I want to thank everyone, including you at LSRTV, putting on a great show, and all of our new audience at iRacing.com.
That's right. Everybody tuning in tonight, and although it ends with a checker and a yellow, is still exciting race nonetheless. Corey, thanks for sticking around and chat with us. Congratulations on your third place. And since you like this racetrack, we wish you the best of luck. We'll see what you guys can do next Friday when we just about triple the laps from this one. We'll see you for that one, 120 in that one.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
So that's your third place finisher. Our second place finisher, a familiar name. And Andy, you've caught up on a pit lane with the driver of the 48. That's Josh Ball.
That's right. I'm down here with the driver of the 48, Josh Ball. And Josh, I guess I won't make fun of you not getting any practice time anymore. Did a hell of a job out there keeping the thing out of trouble, coming home with a second place finish tonight.
Yeah, I got Dale Jr.'d.
Yeah, it was pretty close there on that restart. Obviously, I mean, if that thing stayed green, you were on the preferred line, the high side, obviously dominant all night long in the B main, the A main. You were there. It was just a matter of getting some help and getting it done. But unfortunately, that wreck behind you kind of foiled it.
Yeah, I won't take credit away from Rodney. He did a great race. Yeah, unfortunately, there we had to set up on the last caution. We got our car. We're up towards the front there in the beginning of the race. We had some great three-wide action throughout the race. So definitely a lot of good racing out there tonight. Had it set up, though, with Shane and Seth on the outside, and our plan was to just ride a little bit higher and get a great run off the backstretch. Well, obviously, we didn't get that far. So me being a little bit higher in turn 1 and 2, I think actually cost me that race, because if I would have been closer to the 7 with his front-end damage, might have been able to take a little bit of the air off of his car and propel myself to a win. But, we'll take home second. It's consistency is basically what wins championships, like I did last year. So we'll go for a second for now.
That's what it's all about, getting points, kind of maintaining your spot. We only got about 3 more races left till we get to that chase. Talk about that with the momentum now and a good run here tonight. Now, next week, Evan just talked about it. We're almost tripling the laps. So it was a pretty crazy night. The bumps were obviously into effect. Some hot tempers there at the end. What do you think this thing's going to be like when we start adding all these laps up next week?
Now, I think actually it might calm everybody down a little bit. Usually the enduro races, everybody tries to, get single file, run a couple laps. We got I think, what did we talk about earlier? 120 laps next week. So that's a lot longer than this race, almost 3 times as long. So I think everybody will be a little bit more patient, I'm hoping. We didn't use any resets tonight on the 48, but usually always in those enduro races you use one. So hopefully, I wish I could save my resets every week for one of those, but we'll go out there and do what we can.
That'd be pretty nice if you could recur them week after week if you don't use them, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Sponsor shout-outs, who do you want to thank here tonight for this good run?
Well, I've got to thank Lowe's. They've been on the car since season 1 and back even further than that. Great race cars week in and week out. I've been, we've already been to Victory Lane once this year in the chase already. We're just trying to stay consistent, like I said. Also sponsors. Let's see, Hanrick for providing the cars, my teammates. As we all know every week, Jorgensen, Tanner Mann. Glad Tanner got his win last week. Got 2 Hanrick cars currently in the chase. Hanner was in on points, but might have fallen a little bit tonight. But anyway, yeah, good overall. Thanks to Lowe's again. And thank you guys, LSRTV, for putting on the broadcast, Rod Car for providing all the fun and action.
There you have it. Second place finisher here tonight at Daytona, Josh Ball. And now Evan has caught up with a man, and I think he actually wants to tell you something.
I'm ready for it.
All right, be ready, because I'm sure he's going to let you know about it a couple times.
So we talked about it in the All-Star race 1 week ago, how the driver that went on to win the All-Star race won the All-Star Open, and I said, it's not really a B and an A main sweep, because I love saying that nobody's won the B main and gone on to win the A main. That's my little way of jinxing some. And well, Rodney Watford not only does he get his third win on the season, but he disproves that and wins and sweeps the evening. Your winner at Daytona, and we've caught up with him in the pit lane. Rodney, first off, congrats on the win. Congratulations for proving me wrong.
Thank you there, Evan. Yeah, sweeping that, huh? Can't say
Not
it
bad.
no more. Can't say it no more, can you?
I guess no, and now I'll ask you, though, when's the next person going to do it? Will it be you?
Well, I mean, that's always the goal if we're in the B main is to try to sweep it.
We started in fourth for this one, and we know it's Daytona 07. It's always the wild card race. I like that we get this track back to back. We're here tonight. We're also going to be here next weekend for an endurance event. But starting in fourth position, there was a point there, too. I was trying everything I could. I'm like, oh, he's going to win the B main and the A main. I was like, well, I mean, this race was so crazy. We saw so many lead changes. We didn't see anybody lead us back to the green flag on 2 restarts twice in a row. You led 3 of them in a row at the end. So what was the key? Getting there and then hanging on, even with that damaged race car?
That horsepower I had underneath the hood there, that Race Fan Racing machine just had a little extra ump underneath it.
Well, it's enough to get the win for you. Revised championship chase here now, going back to last season's chase qualification. So if anybody wins, they're in. You're not giving anybody, though, free tickets. Third win on the season, and it comes at Daytona again. So doesn't matter if it's the regular circuit or 07. There's something about this joint that you guys like. What does 3 wins mean for you? Although it's not going to give you anything extra, really, when we get to the chase, what does 3 wins mean for you on a personal level, and what kind of statement you think that makes of these other guys?
3 wins means we can go out there and knock them down, be a threat again in the chase, and hopefully come out P1 in that, instead of P2, and grab that son of a bitch.
Well, I'll tell you what, the strong finish tonight at Daytona. You get the job done, and you take home the win, and that means that you're not letting Josh Ball or Corey Henry, Rod Minton, Tommy Hall, any of those other guys take the easy route. You're the winner at Daytona. Sponsors and shoutouts. I felt like I've said you're a winner at Daytona quite a few times this season. We'll say it again there, Ronnie. The sponsors, the shoutouts. Who on that race car powered you here to this win?
Oh, I mean, everyone here. I got to thank Big City, obviously, right there. They, threw it together, the holy union of Rodney and Miss Passini. There, I got a shout out to my wife, Chris's wife, I guess. He number 2.
Doesn't matter about technicalities.
Yeah, I know. I got to thank Corey there for helping me out. He stuck with me, and we kept her up front. I got to thank Derek Walker. Go check out Room 7 on Facebook. It's for a good reason. I got to thank everybody else there. I got to thank everybody here, in the league. I thank you, Evan. Got to thank Rod Flagg most off because, I mean, what he does is just phenomenal. Come out every Friday and have the fun that we do, the racing we do. It's just a blast.
And I hope that you enjoy that piece of hardware you get from this one, Rodney. Always a fun time. Thanks for sticking around and chatting. Again, congratulations to you, and we'll be back at Daytona, so why not next week? We'll see you then.
All right, thank you, guys.
So, Andy, I know you kind of got somewhere to be, and we're a little bit late, but it is kind of exciting to say that for the first time, LSRTV is currently live in 2 different spots. You're watching the end of the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series coverage. I do encourage you to go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/livesimracingtv or twitch.tv/LSRTV. Live right now on LSRTV 2. 2 broadcasts going at the same time is the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Truck Series finale. So you're going to want to check that one out. Andy, before I let you off the leash and run over there, what do you think about this one, and what are we looking forward to next week?
I'm telling you, the way these cars bounced around and just the control these guys have to have, and we saw some lapses maybe in car control a little bit on these bumps and causing some issues, a couple big wrecks. I think we're in for a treat next week. You're talking 120 laps of it, so it's going to be exciting. The amount of lead changes we had tonight just in this short little 50-lap race, obviously double, triple, quadruple that next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see, though, as we close in on the chase, who can maybe sneak out a win and get in there.
And Rodney Wofford, the man of Daytona, the man of the night tonight, he gets the job done. First person to win the B and the A main on LSRTV in the same night. His third win on the season, solidifying his place as a major championship contender. That does it for our LSRTV back-to-back, and that wraps things up with Wofford getting the job done. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. We got 3 late model races coming up in the next couple of days. 2 features on Sunday. We have 3 features tomorrow. We got the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series chase on Monday, and the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series on Tuesday. Take a quick look at the screen now. This is the finish from the end of this race, and again, race control went through the review, and this is the official finish on this one. So the 7 of Rodney Wofford gets the win. That's the gap that he had in front of the 48 of Josh Ball. So maybe the width of one of those simulated tires, the difference, that is, though, what gave the 7 the win. So as Josh Ball said, he got junior. That does it, though, from Daytona. On behalf of the entire LSRTV team tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, a big thanks for Josh Ball for sticking around for the B main earlier on tonight, and for our executive producer, Laura Lawson. We thank you so much for tuning in. Congrats to Rodney Wofford. We bid you good night from Daytona. Twitch.tv/LSRTV. Check LSRTV 2's live coverage of the RSR Midnight Thunder Truck Series finale.